So today we're going to do the handover video on the Laika Ecovip 4009. We're going to start on the outside and then we're going to move on to the inside. So firstly, coming over to the passenger side. On your passenger side you've got your fill up points. Here you've got your point for your AdBlue and then just above your diesel. This is where you can fill up from. Your AdBlue has already been topped up at factory and you will get a warning light on the dash for when that needs filling up. Now we're opening up the passenger door. As always on the passenger door, you've got within your door sill the tyre pressures along with your bonnet release catch, which is just on that side. Before pulling that, you'll notice on your windows you have got a Remis cab blind. This is fitted to the cab on the side of the windows and on the front. They use a Remis cab blind magnetic strip, which once unplugged, simply feed, as you can see, lead with the bottom and then connect up to the side there. And thanks to that magnetic strip, it just connects in neatly. Now, typically what I say with these is lead from the bottom, because they do get caught at the bottom. So if you lead at the bottom, take it nice and slow, it allows you to lead it back into position and connect it into place like so. That goes for the same on the other windows. And as a rule of thumb in a motorhome, if it feels like it's being forced, you are probably doing something wrong. So just bear that in mind. Just reevaluate what you are doing, of course. Now coming back over to the bonnet release catch, I'll just open that now and release the bonnet. Underneath the bonnet there's not many things that you need to know. The main things that you need to know is if you ever jump start in the vehicle. I'll pop the bonnet now and show you where that is done from. So with the bonnet open, you can see that your main point for hookup or jump starting is onto here. This is your negative. So your negative terminal is just in front of you on this little nipple here. And then for your positive, it is just located underneath this cap. On the cap there is a plus sign which indicates that it's a terminal for the positive, and using your key you can just lever this cap up and access it there. So if you jump starting the vehicle, that's where you're doing it from. There, as I say, the main things that you need to know. But just whilst the bonnet is open, to point out a couple more things, you have got your engine oil here along with your dipstick below. You've then got your brake disc fluid, your engine coolant is next, along with the power steering fluid, and then right at the end, it's quite difficult to see because of the light, but as you can see you've got your power, your washer fluid, which is just located in there. Now coming round to the side of the vehicle, you notice I've just opened up the habitation door. You've got your step here on the side of the vehicle, or as you walk in rather, you have a little button there which will activate your step. Closing the habitation door, you have got a locker here which gains you access to the part of the double height floor and gives you a bit of storage. Moving along, you've got your fridge vents either side. For your fridge, obviously this is where the fridge pulls its air from and allows the fridge to be cooled. Now, as you can appreciate, if it is a hot day, this is going to be running less efficiently. So if you can, if the sun is beating down on this side of the vehicle, try and pull your awning out or keep it under shade, just to obviously give it a bit of help on running efficiently. Because as I say, after all, this is where the air is being pulled from. Now underneath here, you'll notice you have an external barbecue point. Just take this off. Using a bayonet fitting, you can connect that up to your barbecue. Turn your gas bottles on, and then that will allow gas to feed through. So your barbecue point rather is just here. Next to that, you've got your cassette toilet. Now the cassette toilet, or the main thing that you need to know about the cassette toilet, is before removing it, you need to make sure that the blade on the toilet is closed. If it is open, what will happen is you'll come to remove the cassette and it will get stuck or it will catch. What typically people do is people then carry on removing the cassette, and ultimately it does get broken and snaps the system inside, and then you have to buy a brand new cassette. So please make sure that the blade is closed on the inside, which I'll show you later. And I'll just open this cassette up now just to show you how to empty it. So with the cassette open, all you need to do to remove this is push up on the little handle and pull out like so. Dead simple. As I say, when the blade is closed, it is dead easy to remove, and it's simply like that. So I'll just place it on the ground now and just show you how to empty it. All you need to do to empty it is pull out this lever like so, unscrew the cap on the top, and then using the orange button on the back, click that, and that will empty the cassette. That releases a vacuum and it'll empty all the contents. Once you've done that, you can put a bit of blue fluid or water in here just to rinse it out, and if you are using toilet chemical, that goes straight into the cap and into the cassette. You'll notice that you have got an orange button here. This should always remain in this position. Never move this or anything, always leave it in this position. As I mentioned about the blade, that is what the blade makes contact with and opens and closes the cassette. You should have no need to move that or anything, so leave that as it is. When putting it back in, simply slide this back into place, take the cassette and line it up. Once lined up, push all the way in until this little handle clips into position like so, and then the cassette is all sturdy and snapped into place, ready for transit. Next, you've then got your hookup cable. So this is where you're on site, you can hook up to your 230 volts. And then at the back, you'll notice you've got your large garage locker opening. To undo these, simply turn and open up like so. With it open, as you can see, it gains you access to the garage. In the back here, you've got your carpets along with your awning pole and shower head for your external shower, which is on the other side, which I'll mention. You've got tie down points as well, which can be moved within the van depending on what you're tying down. And in the back here, you'll notice you have a socket along with a light at the top. In the back here, it does tell you how much it will load. It'll take 250 kg as indicated here. And then the final aspect in the back is just this little drain down. Now, with a lot of vehicles, a lot of drain downs are manual on the outside of the vehicle. However, the beauty with this one is it's just electric. So when you are draining down your wastewater, all you need to do is press this button and that will empty and drain down the entire wastewater system. So it's dead easy and dead simple, and you don't have to go around the outside of the vehicle or underneath it to drain anything down. So just click that button and it will drain the systems down. Now, whilst we're on the topic of drain down points, you've got two more in the vehicle. You've got a freshwater drain down and then a boiler drain down point, which is for your boiler. Now, when draining down, what we say is drain the majority of water on site. But once you've done that, you can leave all your drain down points open, because as you travel home, the vibrations of the water of the road will get all that water out. Once you've done that as well, what we say is when you're not using the vehicle, leave all your drain down points free of water, or all your tanks rather free of water, to ensure there is no frost damage. Now, before we move on, it is worth mentioning you have got points here that you can use for storage. In this one, this is where the pump is located, so you don't really need to access that one, but that middle one is a bit more storage as well on the inside of the vehicle. Now, coming back outside, you'll notice that you've got your awning, which is a teardrop awning on this vehicle, which is just on the side of the vehicle. All you need to do is get your pole. It's a telescopic pole, so you unscrew that to lengthen it and connect it to the little wind there. When it's not a windy day, you're then free to use the awning, so you can wind it out to a point you can reach, and then concealed in the awning you'll have two legs. They'll drop down, let them take the weight of the awning, and then you can angle each leg and allow it to wind out. So it's dead easy and dead quick. Takes 5 minutes of a job. Obviously, if it does get windy, please do put it in, because your awning is, after all, a huge sail. So if it's a windy day, it could potentially snap off and break and injure someone. So please make sure that if it's windy, send it back in. Now, coming round to the outside, or the rear rather, you'll notice at the top you have got your camera, which is just located up there in the brake light, which is nice and sleek. And then coming round to the other side, you have another access point to your garage area here. You can see in the back you've got your packs as well, along with some further storage. On this side, as I mentioned, you've got your hookup point for your water. So this is where you can fill your water up. So simply unscrew the cap and put a food grade hose pipe into this system here. When it's overflowing, that's of course when you know it's full, and then you're good to go. So it's straight into there, dead simple and dead easy. Moving on, you've then got a little shower icon here, and as I've mentioned, you've got an external shower with this vehicle. The external shower head uses a bayonet fitting which will connect into there, and then you can turn it on and off. You need to make sure obviously that the pump on the inside of the vehicle is on, and you have got water in the vehicle for obviously that to work, so do bear that in mind. Now, underneath this you've got your gas locker. Unscrew the arm there and you can access the gas locker. As you can see, it'll take 2 gas bottles. It will take 2, I'd recommend putting 2 6s in here, and then using a pigtail that'll just simply connect up to your Trume vent there, which is your regulator. One thing to note, when travelling with gas, please make sure it is turned off at the bottle. It should only be turned on when you are travelling, of course. When you are stationary, of course. When you're travelling, please turn it off due to safety. Now next, you've got your trimmer vent. This does get hot, so be careful, don't hang anything on there. Hot air comes out the bottom and cool air goes in, so just be careful of that. Finally, on this side of the vehicle, if I open this up, you've got a little bit more storage, which once locked into place, you've got access here. As you can see, you've got double height floor, which goes all the way under, and you can use this area for bigger bits. Above here, you've got some access points into your fuses, which are just here, so it's nice and accessible with a light just to help you. The main thing that you need to know underneath here is if you're ever draining the boiler free of water. As I say, there's 3 main drain down points. We've shown you one which is on the outside, but which is in the garage, but the boiler drain down point is just located in here, and this is your second. Now this may be familiar to some people, but this simply is a frost protection drain down point. It's a fail-safe and will automatically drain its water, its vehicle full of water, for example if it does reach freezing temperatures. So to close this, all you need to do is simply turn the diamond on the top of the valve like so, and push this blue tab in. With that pushed in, as you can see, all flush, that is closed. So once you've done that, you can then run water through the heating system to allow that to power up. Now as this reacts to temperature, to open this, all you need to do is simply turn it like so, so the black nib on the diamond, it's quite difficult to see, just pops up, and then the blue button on the side pops out. Now as I say, because it reacts to temperature, if you've not used the vehicle in a while, or it is colder when you are using the van, what you might run into is you'll come to close the actual boiler drain down. So you'll turn the diamond on the top, as I've done there, and you'll go to press this button in. Now this button will keep flicking out, and the reason being is this reacts to temperature. As I say, it's got some solution in here. So what may happen is you're trying to close that valve when it's too cold. So it won't let you push that all the way in fear of you getting frozen water in the system, because it's a fail-safe. Now if that is the case, you need to go into the vehicle, and I'll show you how to do this. But you go into the vehicle, you turn the heating on, and this will heat this area. It's going to take about 30 to 40 minutes or so just to heat this, so then that way you can then of course turn that and open that valve, or close it rather, and press that button in, and then you're good to go. So that's one of the things that you just need to do if it is in the colder months, or you've not used the vehicle for a while, as it will go into hibernation mode. So that concludes the outside of the vehicle. We've now jumped on the inside, so I can show you the controls from the inside. So you've got your control panel. Click your button on and off. So click that and hold it to turn the system off. As you can see, it has now been turned off. This will still show just to indicate that we are currently plugged in and the alternator for the batteries are working. That's hence why that panel is still on at the moment, but if I was to unhook, it will go off. Now, to turn on, all you need to do is click that button. As indicated by the little dial, the little ringtone rather, it will then come on. On here, it will show you your leisure battery level, and you've also got your option for your fresh water level. Now to have a look at them in depth, all you need to do is simply click this button, and this will show you your leisure battery. So your leisure battery button, it will show you your voltage for your habitation battery along with your vehicle battery. So it's dead easy and dead simple, as you can see. Now next, you've then got your water level. Click that and it'll show you for your fresh water, and then your wastewater, which is up at the top there. And again, it will show you percentage. As you can see, we've nothing in the vehicle, hence why it is reading 0, but that is obviously where it's indicating. Okie dokie. Now regarding your lights, you've got your light button up here. Now these switches over here are more indicator buttons, over here are more functional buttons. So you've got your light button here, that'll turn on and off the lights on the inside, and using the switches at the side of the door, you can turn your lights on. As you can see, they just come on. You've then got a light which is at the bottom here, which you can click on. That light, as you can see, indicates that it's on the side, and this is on the side of the vehicle, so that's just your door light. You've then got in the middle a little tap. Your tap is a pump, or activates the pump. Click that, and that will activate the pump. Now, when operating the pump, you need to make sure that all the water is in the vehicle, so you're not running the pump dry, as it'll burn it out. And once you've done that, you need to go to all of your taps, including your shower, turn them on and turn them to hot. That'll pull fresh water from the fresh water tank into the boiler and then out of the tap. It'll spurt and splutter, but then when it's running steadily, you've primed your system for your hot water. Once you've done that on your hot water, flick it over to cold and do the exact same. Now, the reason I tell you to do it on hot first is this uses a boiler system like many other motorhomes, which obviously doesn't give you instant hot water. Now, if you arrive on site and you get water into that boiler point as soon as you arrive, by the time you want to use your hot water, because you've pulled water through it, there's going to be water sitting in that boiler, which will begin to heat. By the time you've got everything set up and you want to use it, you can then get hot water coming through, or warm water at least. Now, obviously, you'll need to turn your boiler on for that, which I'll show you in a minute, how to operate that. But it's dead simple and dead easy. So as I say, you need to do that for all your taps, including your shower. Do it on hot, then do it on cold. Once you've done that, you can leave your pump on, because on each of your taps you've got a micro switch which will activate and deactivate the tap, or the pump rather, whenever you need it, and will put water out just like you'd get at home. Now, coming back over, finally on this panel, you'll notice you've got a little button there which says aux. The aux button, if you click that, allows the 12-volt option bits on the vehicle to work and operate. Click that, it just lights up. So this means you can see you've two USBs up here. If I click that aux, that will obviously light up and show you that it's operational, and then you can obviously charge your phone and everything. There's another one in the back bedroom there which is just lighting up, as you can see. So just click that to operate your 12-volt options. You can see that light's just gone out there, just to say that it's not on. Now, coming over to your Truma panel, this uses Truma blown air heating. So it's a really good system, and it's a combi boiler. All you need to do to turn this on is click the button, and it's all on for you. Now, everything below the line is what you want to select. The first one is your vehicle's temperature. If you click that, using the dial, you can push in to select and turn the dial to scroll through the options. You can scroll the dial all the way to 30 degrees. Click that in to activate. As I say, I'm just going to show you the options, so I'm not going to activate anything yet. Next is your water temperature. As you can see, there's a little thermometer with a little water symbol there. Click that in, and you've got the option of having it on Eco, Hot, or Boost. Eco is approximately 40 degrees, and you're going to be using that when you're having a shower. Hot is approximately 70 degrees. You're going to be using that when you're washing up. And then finally, you've got Boost. Boost, in essence, concentrates on heating the water. Concentrates on the van and the boiler heating the water rather than heating the vehicle itself. Now, if you want to do this vice versa and concentrate on heating the actual vehicle itself, you can do, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Next, you've got the important bit, and this is your fuel. Now, you can run this boiler off numerous fuels. You've got the first option, which is gas, so you can run it off gas when you're wild camping. You've then got Mix 1, which is a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt electric. Mix 2, which is a mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt electric. So you're most likely to be doing that when you're on a site where you've not got much electric. You've then got EL1, which is 1 kilowatt electric, and EL2, which is 2 kilowatt electric. The majority of the time, if you're on a site, you'll be keeping it on EL2, but it's all operational through there. Finally, you've then got the fan. The fan, because I've not got anything selected at the moment, will only give me the option of vents, which will just vent and circulate the air on the inside. As I say, because we're just in the vehicle at the moment and I've not selected anything, it's just giving me the option of vents. If you wanted, you can, once you've got something selected, it will run off high or boost, as I've discussed, so it depends on what intensity you want it. And you can run it off your boost if you're not bothered about the water getting hot and want to focus on the vehicle getting hot. Now, coming back to the panel, underneath, you'll notice you've got a timer, so you can set a timer for when you want the heating to kick in. You've then got a watch, or a clock rather, so you can change the time. And then finally, you've got a settings panel. On the settings panel, if you scroll all the way through, you've got the reset button. Click the reset, and click that again, and that will reset the system. Now, the only time you're going to need to reset it is if you ever get an error code. Now, you'll only get an error code if you select the wrong fuel. So, for example, if you're on a site and you're trying to heat the water using a fuel that you've not got, so let's say you've not got any gas, but you're trying to heat the vehicle using gas, it's of course going to struggle, it's not going to be able to heat it, so you get a warning code and an error code on here. If you get that error code, that's where you need to reset that system. So go into your settings panel, select that, reset, and that will reset the entire system. It will initialize and flicker the screen, and it will come on after about 30 seconds. Once it's done that, you need to wait approximately 20 minutes for the system to fully reset, and once you've done that, you can then begin using it again. So do bear that in mind. To turn this off, all you need to do is hold this button in, and it'll then turn off. It's dead simple. Now, moving back from the control panel, you can see you've got your lounge here. In the lounge, you've got 2 points for seat belts, which are here. If you're using this second seat belt, you can of course drop this little cushion out of place so the legs can drop down there. You have a table which slides about here, and then above this area, you have got your drop-down bed. With your drop-down bed, of course, make sure that your system's on, and then using the button, you can press that and drop the bed into position like so. Now, once it's at that level, you'll have a ladder which will connect onto here, and then up you go, and you've got all your bedding which can remain on here. The only thing I recommend is putting your pillows up at the top, but all your bedding can stay on. To send it back up, press your button in like so, and it just takes it up like that. Dead easy and dead simple. Now, on the floor, do pardon it, it's not had the vehicle hasn't had a valet yet, but on the floor you can see your 3 components or compartments. In the first one, this is concealed within the double height floor, you have a leisure battery. This is where this is located. Now, you don't need to do anything regarding the leisure battery, that's just where it's located. Everything you need to know is on that panel, but that's where it's located. You've then got some more storage here, and then finally a little bit more storage in the double height floor here as well. You'll notice as well, if you do open up this, you have a bit more storage along with an infill which will access the locker behind. Coming into the kitchen area, as we say, we've discussed about the oven and the pump and priming your system, but your oven and grill is just here, which are on the gas. Oven and grill's just there with your hob up at the top, and then as you can see, you've got your drainer in your sink here. Some storage is just above here, as you can see, and just across you've got a big cupboard that will gain you access to your aerial. As I say, it hasn't had a valet at the moment, so do excuse the mess, but as you can see, your aerial is just up at the top here. All you need to do is to unscrew this and push the aerial up, and then tighten this into place. Once you've done that, you're all good to go. You need to click your aerial on by clicking the little button up at the top, and as you can see, you've got a green little symbol which will pop on, and that indicates good charge or good signal. On the aerial as well, you can of course turn this around to change the signal if you're not getting the best signal, and then this little arm will tilt the head of the aerial. Up at the top, you've got this solar charge regulator. This is just regulates the charge that comes from the solar panel into the leisure battery. You don't need to do anything with that. That will just regulate the solar charge as it goes. Now, moving below, you can see that you've got your fridge. You've got your freezer up at the top, and the fridge is just below. The fridge does a very good job at maintaining temperature, but not the best at jobs at getting it down to temperature. So if you want frozen things in the fridge, in the freezer rather, put frozen things in, and if you want cooled things in the fridge, put cooled things in. It's worth noting that this is a 3-way fridge, and there's 3 ways to power it. So you can run it off your 230-volt electric, which when you're on site will be used. You can run it off gas, so when you're wild camping, you'll run it off your gas, and then you can run it off your 12-volt leisure battery, which is you're travelling, you can run it off. Now, a lot of people think that they can run the fridge off the 12-volt leisure battery when they're wild camping. However, that is not the case. You'd simply burn out the leisure battery because this fridge takes too much power up if it was just solely off the leisure battery. Hence why it'll only allow you to use it when travelling, because you have a built-in alternator with this vehicle, which will ultimately send power to the leisure battery, which will trickle charge the fridge as you're travelling. So when you're wild camping, strictly and stationary, you only use your gas. Now to operate this, turn this on, like so. Then using the dial, you can flick through the options and change the options like so. Now you'll notice you have a little auto button there. I'll leave it on that, and that will automatically assign whichever fuel you have in the vehicle, so you don't run into any error codes, similar to your heater. So using this dial, you select in, and then you can flick through the options. You can change the temperature as well if you wanted. Turn this off, simply hold, and as indicated by the beep, that turns it off. Coming into the back, you've got your bedroom, which is back here. Now directly below here, I'll talk about the toilet in a minute, but directly below, you've got two compartments. The first compartment locates your fresh water tank, which is just here. And to empty this, all you need to do is unscrew this, as you can see. Unscrew that, and that will drain down the entire fresh water. Now the great thing with this is this will take approximately 120 litres, this tank. If you want, for example, to drain down the entire system but leave 20 litres in the water in the system, so for example if you're travelling off site and you move into a new site where you don't know whether you get any water, or you want to leave a little bit in for a cup of tea, all you need to do is screw this and you'll hit a lug. Once you reach that lug, just stick at that, and that will drain down the entire system to 20 litres. If you want to drain down the whole thing, keep unscrewing past that lug, and once you have done that, it'll drain down the entire thing. So that's where you're draining down your fresh water. In the back here is just an access locker into your wastewater, but of course you don't need to access that because that is all electric and that's all done in the garage. In the bedroom, you've got storage all above, along with some storage underneath the bed, which you can see you can access here. You have got a sliding rail as well for some hanging space. Now coming back round, you've got your shower. We've discussed about this. Obviously you need to prime that like you would with all your taps. And then you have got your bathroom area. I'll flick the lights on, but you can see this is your toilet cassette. Your toilet cassette is dead simple and easy. As I say, you need to make sure that the blade is closed when removing the cassette. When in use, pull the blade towards you and that will open the cassette. All the waste can then drop into the cassette toilet, and once you've done that, press your blue button which will activate your flush. That will flush everything out of the system, and then you can close the blade. Now the main reason you close the blade is to obviously stop the two reasons really, is to stop the odours from escaping, and the second reason is to get into the habit, of course, having that closed, so every time you remove the cassette it's not getting jammed. Now as I mentioned, your blue button activates your flush. It is worth mentioning you will need your pump on for that to activate, and then you will get a red little light on here for when the cassette is full. When you get that, you need to of course empty it. Now before we conclude today's video, on each of your windows you've got a blackout blind and a fly screen that just pulls down like so, and on each of your windows you can of course open them using the little levers. So that concludes the handover video on the Laika Ecovip 4009. I hope you enjoyed.